Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today, in a rare situation, I'm analyzing a battle against a computer. This is done by a newer player. He's still trying to hone his skills on Wargame. And before you will start commenting, don't fight the AI because they fight very different than a human. Yes, I agree with you there. The change side to that is that it does give you a bit more time to see what sort of ranges there are in the game, what units work relatively well against what units, and try various tactics. Very much the note with this that the AI fights very different than a player. The AI, for example, will just charge down roads like this. Most players don't. Now, this video is very much aimed at newer players. If you are a newer player, I hope this is going to help you. I'm going to be pointing out some stuff that Vallegrand does well, and some stuff that he can do better. Some units that he might not be using that could be very useful in the way that he's playing the game. If you're a more experienced player, by all means watch the video and comment on it with constructive criticism. Ideally with a timecode so that Vallegrand and other players can see what your suggestion is for what type of situation. Destructive criticism, just laughing at the guy, is not going to help anybody. Might make you feel better about your own skills, but really you're not helping anyone. So, let's have a look. He is playing a French deck on this map. Straight away, let's just do a bit of analysis on the terrain. I'm going to be trying to effectively point this out. You got the town over here. Usually a good point to hold, although you are immediately fighting against that town. You're in this town capable of laying down some fairly decent suppressive fire with ATGMs. You can at least sort of zone out this whole sector. When the enemy gets to, let's say, this forest, you have lost this town. Because they will not only shoot your infantry inside the town, but they will also cut off any reinforcements that you might have coming up. So make sure that they don't take this forest. The ridgeline here, and to some extent here are a problem. The infantry and transports can come down there. Well, the infantry can come down anywhere, but vehicles and transports can come down this ridge right on top of the town, which more often than not is bad news for the vehicle, as the infantry then has short-range anti-tank weapons to take it out. Right, that's one position. Then we have let's say the longer area here. Lends itself quite well to tank warfare and ATGMs. So a Mephisto ATGM vehicle could just zone out this whole sector. The map area over here between the forests, so let's say this sector here, it's usually infantry heavy. The enemy infantry pushes through here, your infantry pushes through there, and at the same time you might be struggling, depending on which side you are, to try and hold this block of buildings. So don't use anything like tanks over here unless it's, for example, an MBT-70, something that has like a Moderna, a really nice autocannon on it. Anything else, not ideally suited. Don't send your Challenger 2 in, don't send your Leclerc in there, it's not great. Bravo. Well, lots of buildings here. The buildings over here are ideal because if you have these, you can zone out a large area of the map. And most of Wargame is just area control. If you can control the buildings over here, and there are various blocks inside of Bravo, you can put ATGM teams over there and just zone out all of this stuff. This way you make sure that any vehicle that tries to move from, for example, the forest here or the road there towards Charlie is going to get shot at. The buildings, let me reset it, the buildings over here, not terribly ideal for ATGMs. Although from, and let me zoom in a bit, the building here, this is great for ATGMs, again, because you can zone out a whole bit. If vehicles start to come in through here, through either smoke cover or the tree line, pull your ATGMs back to here. And for example, if you have them swap Legionnaires there, because they have a better close range weapon, and of course anti-infantry weaponry as well. So that way you can preserve your ATGMs, potentially resupply them with a supply truck that you might have parked in this little bush, and then have your ATGMs ready for when you reclaim the buildings here. Also, recon everywhere, critically important. Delta, well, this sector here, this bit is usually just ignored unless you put up a huge smoke screen and you just try to rush from there to there or the other way around. I wouldn't recommend it because depending on how safe your position is, it's still a large gamble. Usually doesn't pay off. And then you have the buildings over there and the forests on this side. They're usually a bit of a skirmishing area. And depending on whether you're playing Conquest or Destruction, currently Destruction, it is interesting to try and get, for example, a command unit into there if you're playing from this side, or try to get a command unit in here or there or this little forest here, because that way you can counteract the command zone there. All right, let's go through his deployment, see what he's bringing. We got Panthers, Puma with Recon, 2 AMX 10RCs, a VBL Mistral, that's a nice unit to use. Fast, AT weapon, AA weapon, good reconnaissance on him. AMX 10RCs, VABs, yeah, I was hoping to see the VABs. If you're going to try to capture this town over here, send in the VABs first, because they're motorized, they're faster. I found that helos can make a bit of a difference, but generally not that much. And wheeled vehicles are usually enough to try and capture Bravo. He's also spawning in stuff over here now. Again, VABs, AMX 10Ps, so that's ATGM infantry potentially, Mistrals. Alright, you're off. When you start the battle, if you have various different areas of the map that you're looking at, try to queue your orders. Hold shift, for example with the Panthers, tell them to go there. So hold shift, right click into Charlie, and then hold shift still and press U. That way you're going to unload the troops the moment that they get there. If not, you risk that your units are going to stay in the helos. And for example, if you're suddenly skirmishing over here, you're probably going to be zoomed in like this. And all of a sudden you're going to get reports of units on the other side of the map being destroyed. So try to take as much micromanagement off of your own hands by just giving the units orders on where to go and what to do. Now you're pushing in here. Right. These units, they have the right idea, but this tank needs to go here. Because you got, what's that? You got 1 AA unit, 3 transports, 4 IFVs, another 2 transports. You can wipe pretty much this whole block out with the Brennus. And the Brennus is a great unit at that because it also has an autocannon. Although I believe you can only use 1 with the Brennus. So it's either the F1, the main gun, or it's going to be the F1 autocannon. Use this thing. Because if the infantry gets to the buildings, you're going to have a much harder fight on your hands. If you have the Brennus take out the transports, you sometimes take out infantry with it. If not, you can shoot it all the way till it gets to the buildings to make sure that it either arrives there dead or panicked. Let's see, over here. Yeah, you need to either move or offload. See, what I think is happening is that he's focused here. He's focused here. He's looking at what's going on here. There, he's moving his tank. These still have not been offloaded, and I already pre-screened the replay, so I know that this was going to happen. Offload your transports. Hold shift, unload, and then get the Panthers back. Don't send the Panthers in unnecessarily, because those rocket pods can be a really useful help. These guys, queue orders. At the start of the battle, select the whole lot, hold shift, click fast move or use the quick key for fast move, go here, unload, tell your vehicles to go back, and then release shift. So everything in one go, drop them off, get back. Keep the vehicles, let me zoom out a bit more. Let's say keep the vehicles here in this tree line, so that if you are engaging either infantry in this sector or units that are coming down there, you can still push your vehicles forward and use the autocannons to provide a nice field of fire. Support your own infantry. That's what these IFVs do best. Okay, Milan F3. Let me show you more or less what the Milan can see. That. The chance of vehicles actually coming down this road are not great, because Red 4 usually uses this line. So that way, the HGM Milan F3 over here is a bit wasted. I would well, I think I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to lock down the area. Not a bad idea, but the Milan currently is not in a great spot. On this area, I would say put the Milan in here. If you can match the red, if you can get that far. Because from here, you zone out a pretty large area. And you make sure that your town, if it's going to get attacked from here, units that are moving through there get attacked. Units that are moving along this road and, well, let's say past this tree line here get attacked. Everything that gets to here is, well, potentially going to kill your ATGMs. But by that time, they'll already have either been hit or dissuaded from moving any further. Legionnaires. If you're fighting a player, you'd be dead. Drop them off almost on top of a building and make sure they get inside that building right away. Because buildings are, well, they're not strictly safety, but they're safer. What I'm also missing here is one more NTR unit. A Crotal here would have been very valuable, because Crotals are excellent weapons against Helos, and really the only NTR unit that you have right now is the VBL Mistral. It's a capable NTR unit, but pretty much everything here could have been wiped out by a small swarm of helicopters. 3 or 4, you'd have been in trouble. Over here, and again, you're fighting the AI, so you're getting away with it. You got the BMPs, you got the Modestrelki, you're taking shelling for the VABs. I'm still seeing infantry, there we go, inside the transports. Yeah, over here. This area, if you hold it, it is great to use AMX 10RCs over there. The AMX 10RC, the recon unit, let's see, is this one of them? No. Do you have any? No. I thought he spawned a few in. Did they all die? I guess they might have. They're great units at harassing because they're wheeled. They can maneuver through the woods pretty quickly, take a couple of shots and pull right back. That way you could have wiped out the command vehicle, the Conquerors. You could have backed up your Commando Para over there a bit more. And you're also taking missiles, well, you're saving missiles rather from the HGMs. Because firing a 26 AP weapon at a transport that barely has any armor is a bit of a waste. So save your missiles, make sure that the AMX-10RCs over here can work that area. You got Legionnaires over here, Hussars over there. You're almost getting snuck up upon by a UAZ of all things. Now, we can perfectly see what the enemy is doing because I'm a neutral viewer. If I go to your view, now you can see quite a bit. So your recon is solid. Well done. Your recon is solid. Don't forget the buildings over here. These are useful. Because... oh, you got Rima in there. Okay. In this situation, what I would try and go for is a few Rima, like one squad of 20. So 2 squads in that instance. And the rest Legionnaires. Because the Legionnaire can pick off units such as the VBL, such as the MTLB, the Strela 10M. They wouldn't be that useful against these, but they would be able to deal with any infantry that comes out of these transports. Also, and this is what I meant with, I'm not sure if I said it in this video or not, but Wargame is a game where you can make a mistake 5 minutes ago, and it's going to come back to bite you 5 minutes later. Because you did not have the AMX 10RCs or any other cheaper fire support vehicle, highly mobile in these woods, your HGMs ran out, or are about to run out. Which means that the BMP-1s over here, they are going to be hard to counter, because you don't have ranged weapons. The AMX 10Ps have an autocannon, the Hussars have an LREC F1, and these guys have the Apelas, which is all short-range anti-tank weapon. Had you had the AMX 10RCs over there, you could have wiped out the units there, saving the HGMs from the HGM line of 3s, and then wiped out the BMPs. Over here on the left, what do we have happening? Ooh. Yeah, Legionnaires got wiped out. Side shot on a T-64B. You're actually taking a bit too much fire here. If you can preserve an infantry unit, always go for it. Whether it's destruction or conquest, always try to preserve the unit. In this case, pull them back. Because they have one reconnaissance unit, but I kind of doubt they can see a whole lot. So in this case, swap out the HEGMLN F3 towards this building and tell the legionnaires to fall back to here. And you're going to be a little bit safer, and hopefully safe enough to survive. Drop off your recon. Got a UAZ just harmlessly roaming by. There we go, 100 point kill, well done. There's the MX-10RCs. So they did survive, and now they're picking off the sides of the BMPs. Well done. Good work. Question though, where's your anti-air? Where is your anti-air? A Crotal again. You're moving fast with MX-10RCs. These are wheeled vehicles, good at off-roading and, of course, road speed of 150. Make sure you also send a Crotal or two, or a Crotal and a resupply vehicle this way. Because again, you're very, very fragile when it comes to dealing with helicopters. The only way you could do it is if they accidentally fly over your command marines. In which case, you would wipe them out very quickly, but at the expense of potentially some other units. Panthers can be used to suppress the infantry here. Also, your VAP 2013s can come out. Kill the Mudstrelky. AMX-10RCs are still at it. You have eyes on them. Put pressure. These two. the VAP 2013s. See, if you lose these, you lose 15 points. So it's not that important. Whereas, if you lose your AMX-10s, they're already a bit more expensive. They're 30 points each. Use these as harassers. If you were fighting a human player, they might have been countered already. So take a couple of shots and immediately run away. Unless, of course, you know that the enemy's weak over here, but considering the amount of intel you have, you don't quite know that. Okay, left side here, problem. You got a T-64B just rolling down the main road, and you don't have anything to counter it. In this case, I'm not sure if you were distracted by what was happening over here. I think you might have been. Much to this area's detriment, because they don't have any kind of reinforcements coming in. If you have decent control of sectors, then try and reinforce them when you can. I'm not sure how many points he had at this point, so I think he was sending an AMX-10Ps. But over here, this could be a game-ending move. Because what could happen here is that T-64B ignores any infantry because it might not know that it's in there, or a player would just go, this is fine. And they just go, and they run into your base. And what do you have standing between them and your CV? Nothing. More importantly, your CV is out in the middle of the field. It is technically in a bush, but this is not a concealed position. So move your CV at all times into concealment. If the enemy is able to sneak reconnaissance in here, you're going to be dead. And again, this is all stuff that the more advanced players might go, Jesus, this is a dumb mistake. If you are an advanced player, again, recommend what he can do better. It's always so easy to just frag on people and go ham on them and go, oh, you're such a noob, you're such a disgrace, quit playing, uninstall the game, blah, blah, blah. It's not helping anybody. It really isn't. I understand that you're frustrated with teammates who are not playing as well as you think they should, but they might just not know better. They might just not know better. And because of that, if you keep shouting at them, they're either going to go away, which means Wargame as a whole has a smaller player base, which actually means that you're going to be spending more time in the lobby playing Lobby Simulator, waiting for more players to pop up. Well, good luck, because you keep scaring them off. And at the same time, if this guy is going to continue playing, then, well, great, but he hasn't learned anything. Well, he's learned that the wargaming community is toxic, or wargame community. Wargaming too, by the way, but it's a different game. He's learned that the wargame community is toxic, which might help him to dissuade other people from playing the game. So, toxic comments really don't help anybody. Now, after about, almost 9 minutes, you've captured Delta. It's It's great that you captured it, but it's a bit late. The problem is, this spawns in points. Command points. More command points, more units. More units, more kills, faster victory. Always try to capture as much terrain as you can. Ideally with CVs, not necessarily right away. Especially more advanced players are very good at capturing terrain quickly and then later consolidating that with CVs. Because doing it the other way around is more risky and more likely to get you killed. So in this situation, considering that you had units all the way over there, you could have sent in that CV quite a while ago and gotten more points to then reinforce this position. Also, a tactic, yeah, there we are. A tactic that is often not used by newer players is push to contact. You don't know where the enemy is. Let's say from your perspective, you just have the guys over here. I'm not sure if you're trying to ambush units, in which case you would be successful because anything coming up this road is going to get killed. Anything coming down this road is not. So either try moving Commando Para over there or your other Commander Marines. Because the Commander Marines over here, whoops, they're not that likely to be that useful. I mean, the chance that there's something coming down this road without you knowing it is just about zero because you got your recon here and you got the VBs over there. So the Commander Marines here, these can move all the way there. Or if you want to be slightly more efficient about it, you can have these move here and these move there. Because otherwise, you're spending a lot of time moving these guys, whereas these are not doing much of anything. Alternatively, split these up. Have one 15-man squad here, another 15-man squad there, and you're locking it down. But, if we zoom out a little bit, they are coming in, but it's going to take them a while. Push to contact. Move your infantry and or other units forward until you reach the enemy. Push into them. See where they are. These can make it, well, currently with perfect information, you could make it to here and then have another squad, for example, over there. This position here is not ideal because, yes, you can ambush units as they come down the road. But, for example, you have IFVs coming here and you also have 2 tanks coming up there. If that happens, then you will kill the IFVs and the tank go, what the fuck? And they start shooting you. If you have your ambush set up here, you're in a much safer spot. Because then you can fall back to behind the tree line, which means that the Commander Marines would survive and the tanks would not be able to shoot you. But they would know that you're there, so you're effectively locking down even more of the map. Over here you got Modestrelki locked in contact with Legionnaires. They might actually win that. But more support here would be much appreciated. Okay. These units are not set to fast move. Very important, especially for the AMX-10RC. These things can do 150 kilometers at roads. They cannot do that off-road. Off-road, they only do 85 at best. Tell the AMX-10RC and the AMX-30B2 Brennus to move fast. That way they're going to be here and or here a whole lot faster. And once again, you can control more of the map. Got the area here locked down pretty well. You got Reconnaissance. HEGMs are resupplied slowly. You only got 4 missiles in there. Drop off. Yep, there you go. Move them into a building. With AMX 10Ps transporting the Moleemanns, drop off the Moleemanns closer. Because the Moleemanns are slow guys. They're carrying heavy equipment. They only do 15 kilometers per hour. Which means that the vehicles, which can do 65 kilometers off-road, they're 4 times as fast. Have these guys do the heavy lifting, drop off your HEGMs here or there, and that way you save yourself some time, and you have another HEGM threat in the fight faster. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate, your NTR is non-existent. This whole sector has no NTR. None. If the enemy really wants to, they can strike you here. They can bomb you there. They can engage units over here with helicopters and you couldn't counter them. Hell, they could fly helicopters around the map and they can get into your spawn and kill the game pretty quickly. Or at least kill your forces. Once they kill your command unit here, you're done. It is possible to come back from it, but if there are helicopters doing it and you cannot spawn in the air, well, it's still not necessarily lost, but good luck trying to come back from that. And especially if it's helicopters and they drop off a command unit, then you're really toast. This is risky. You don't know how much they have. You just don't know. So the VLRA over here could have been killed off, and it's... I'm not sure if it's waiting for traffic clearance or something, but put it in cover, please. Put it over here. Put it over there. Put it, I don't know, anywhere behind cover. Because this is just... It's a capture or a kill waiting to happen. And the AI generally doesn't capture. They kill. Also, let's see, do you have any helos? Yes, you do. What most players end up doing, let me try to get a good zoom, is set up a picket line. A picket line is a line of a few units so that you don't have incursions of special forces or helos that just go la-di-da, we're going to fly around the side of the map. So your Panthers and your Puma, they can be here, 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 and here. And that way you make sure that the enemy does not flank you. If you want to set up a more aggressive picket line, you can do it here. That way, you're also stating, hey, this whole area of the map is now mine. Same on the other side. It's slightly less wide, but I have seen plenty of people go across the map, flying along the side, and drop off special forces there. And you're going to be in trouble. Because not only will they harass you, and even if it's a small force, they will harass you, but they're also going to demand your attention. And if you're... Let's say you're zoomed in like this and you're looking for the special forces somewhere in here. You're going, are they here? No, shit. Okay, move my infantry that way. Are they here? No, they're not. Crap. Are they there? No. Okay. You're constantly spending time and attention in this sector, which is very important because you don't want those special forces or other skirmishers there. But at the same time, it's drawing your attention away from potentially hotter conflict areas where you can lose more points and as such, the map. And the match. So make sure that you have a picket line. I really like the positioning of your hussars over here. Weapons off, that's really good. For newer players, if you have reconnaissance units, make sure they have their weapons off. Because if the hussars had encountered the Podnos and they would have had their weapons on, they would have killed them. And they would have immediately made their presence known. Whereas right now... Well, you can see the BMP, but not much else. So, in this case, I'd say this here is a better spot. Because you can just see more. And the sooner you know what the enemy's bringing in, whether it's an AI or a human, the sooner you can counter it. Oof, you are lucky, sir, that your Commander Marine survived there. Drop off. You got attacked, drop off, or land. Landed helicopters cannot be detected by planes. Drop off or land. Over here, your VLRA is empty. It's been resupplying and I think reinforcing the Legionnaire squad. Click it, shift, hold fast move, or click fast move, fob, click fast move again while still holding shift to move it to here. And you're going to be automating your resupply. It only does it once, as opposed to other strategy games where you just give a cyclical order that gets repeatedly executed. You do it once, and that way you just make sure that the VLRA gets some new supplies and goes there. And by the time that you need it again, the battle will have developed substantially. Now you're doing a nice push here, you got... This is dangerous though. This is pretty dangerous. See, the Legionnaires are moving from here to there. Which not only means that they can get shot at from over here by tanks, BMPs, well, everything basically. But you're also giving up complete control of this town. Absolutely everything. The only guys that are still holding that flank are the Legionnaires and a reconnaissance unit that's out in the open. Make sure you always have at least something in this town. Let's say a squad of Rima here would have been enough to at least hold it for a little bit. While you are able to, let's say, airstrike or send in helicopters to try and support them as quickly as possible. So this one move could have cost you the town and all the infantry. Be very careful as you try to cross. Use smoke screens where you can. This area here, you have very much the right idea with the hussars, because they can spot everything. From here they can see that and that. Well, let's say a little bit less. Sure, they can see this, but this area here down the road is more interesting, and this area here is also interesting because you might want to capture the buildings here later. Support these with an HEGM. An HEGM, an AMX-10RC, any fast-moving fire supporter would be all you need. Because that is going to be capable of very quickly getting rid of the motor Strelki, but also nailing any vehicle that might come close. If you really want to make it more difficult on the enemy, you can try to have a... well, I suppose a Leclerc can do. You should have 4 of those in your deck. So a Leclerc here, it's a very substantial threat, because you're locking down the whole area. And of course, this being the AI, they for some reason seem to be hell-bent on dropping off their infantry and having the transports attack separately. It's nuts. Human players wouldn't do this. They would either... I'd say they would either not attack at all, or they would come at you with cover from smoke, airstrikes, artillery, and then drop off a whole host of infantry suddenly in these buildings. Or even worse, here. HEGMs are out of ammo. MX-10Ps are doing what they can with their autocannons, but they're taking fire. Tanks over here would have been helpful. One tank, I think this is still the original, Mr. Popeye here. He's doing a lot of work, but you need more of these. You need more. Where are the tanks? It's not necessarily a map that... Oh, Jesus. That lends itself particularly well to tanks, but 7 T-72s will do your head in. And they'll do it quickly. They will do it really, really quickly. So you're struggling to hold here. Tanks, cheap fire support vehicles. Also, pull your AMX-10P back. This thing might not have a terribly good stabilizer. It only has a 10% stabilizer, which means most of your shells will miss. But it's still better than losing the vehicle. So tell it to move from here back to here. And from here, you can still engage the enemy. But the motor Strelki cannot shoot your vehicle. Which they might be angling to do with their RPG-7. Now you're lucky, they're moving back. This whole road is starting to get pretty locked down. Yeah. The mortars are doing good work, but they're only 60-20s. These things only have 2 high explosive. They're not that lethal. If you want to have a better mortar, pick the 5 HE1. They just do more damage. Oh, hold on a moment. 2 Tiger Haps. That is a snack worth 200 points. Helicopters like these are very good, but also quite fragile. Split them up. Have 1 Tiger Hap go that way and 1 Tiger Hap go that way. Because if you have them here, let's say as a block of 2, 1 missile from what do we have there? Strela might not have enough high explosive damage. But there are some other missiles, like a Tunguska missile. It can shoot once and it can kill 2 helos. Split these up. Split them up, lest you want to lose them both. More AMX-10Ps coming in from the side, good work. You're using all your vehicles now, excellent. Triple AMX-10RC, very good. More tanks. Tanks, tanks, tanks. Good ambush spot there. Commander Para moving forward. Don't forget about your under Commander Para. Sorry, Commander Marines. I'm not sure how much you've moved your mortars, by the way, but try to always move after a salvo. Because players will always hunt down mortars. They're so annoying to deal with, mortars. But if they keep moving around, well, they're a little easier to kill. Very quick to drain resupply charge too. That logistic was full a moment ago, and now it's empty. Yeah, you're lucky that these T-72s don't break through. You got your Leclercs here, as a counter to the T-72s, I think. But you don't have any anti-air. So, if this was an actual player, and they would have pushed with... Well, let's say they were pushing with T-72s. You could have killed them with the Leclercs. Had they brought in the KA-50, KA-52 combo, so the reconnaissance helicopter and the attack helicopter, you'd have had a substantial problem. Because you couldn't kill them. And they could very swiftly kill you, and thus allow the T-72s to move on. So, I don't care that you're making a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. I make a ton of mistakes playing Wargame. But stuff like this is going to cost you a lot of points. It will cost you your tanks. And it will frustrate you to no end. And not just you, but your teammates too. So, he did get a total victory out of that, so well done. Keep in mind that when you're fighting against the AI, you're fighting against a very different animal than when you are fighting against the, well, the humans on multiplayer. It is a very, very different experience. I agree with trying to practice in skirmish. At some point you're going to have to do multiplayer, and I know that Vallegrand has played multiplayer because he already messaged me, or he wrote that in the description of his replay. It's going to take frustration, it's going to take getting humiliated, it's going to take people shouting at you despite me trying to encourage the community not to. It's not an easy game to master. Keep at it, analyze your replays, figure out always, do I have enough reconnaissance, do I have enough anti-air, are my units getting resupplied, do I still have units inside of my vehicles? If so, for example, with those units inside the vehicles, could I have queued orders to offload them? If so, do so. And whenever you're fighting a battle, try to just focus on one thing that you're going to do better. Not 10, not 15, just one thing. Just go, okay, you know what? This batch, I'm just going to focus on making sure that I don't have any units still inside of vehicles. I don't have infantry sitting needlessly inside of vehicles where they can get killed. Just drop them off. Just queue your orders, that's it. Because the more habits you build, the better you will be at this game. At least, that's my take on it. If you are a more experienced player and you made it this far, again, very much encouraged to be putting in comments about what he could be doing different or better. Toxic comments, very much unwelcome and will get deleted. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that if you're a newer player, you found this you found this video useful. If so, give it a like. That way more newer players can find it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful. And I'll see you guys soon for more videos.